state of the Manscape. So we talked about the state of the bush. Now we're going to talk about you men. Should you trim, shave, or leave a jungle? Well, that's what Farideh and I are going to discuss today on this podcast. So welcome.
Hey guys, Farideh Golembiewski, family nurse practitioner here at Revitalize MD, and we figured if we're going to do one on the state of the bush, we might as well do one on the state of the Manscape.
Yeah, we like to have a little fun. That state of the bush one was fun and super popular.
Lots of interacting, lots of comments. It was so fun for us to go through those.
It was. So let's do the same here. So now the focus is on you men. So what do you guys think? What do some of the studies show for women? And then what do we think?
What do we think?
Yeah.
Because we always have opinions.
We always have opinions. So basically, again, it sounds as if a lot of men are grooming, like 50 to 70. And we're talking about genitals here. So we're talking
Yes.
about the pubic area and surrounding. What would
I
you
love
call
that
it?
you just said surrounding.
And surrounding areas. So
Right. The
well,
ginch, the gooch, depending on where you live.
yeah,
The
I've never.
scrotum.
Yeah, but that's still just one isolated
It's
area
that whole
to me, and I
area.
hate the down there thing for men or for
I was
women.
waiting for you to say
No, I
that.
just can't even. It's kind of like that broken term. Like you're not broken. Like I don't like the broken term. I don't like the down there.
Yes.
So, but I would say that 50 to 70% of men report to do some kind of grooming in the
And then
pubic
women.
area.
Yeah. And then women, about 70% of us report that we like it when you groom.
Well, why don't we just call it the bush, just like we did
bush.
for women? Like it does seem to like apply
Groom
to
the
women,
bush,
but yeah,
guys.
yeah, we're gonna
70% of women want you to groom the bush.
yeah, because the pubic thing, the down there doesn't work. So let's just talk about bush for men. Like, so what are we doing? So 70% of women want some kind of grooming, is what
Yeah.
you said. Yeah.
And we're talking about either shaving completely, being trimmed, or just going full grow out,
And most women like it.
trimmed.
Yeah. So
The consensus is trimmed.
yeah, I don't think that. So bear, what do you think about bear for?
I mean, either way, I guess it could be, we could get into that, but I mean, you can get ingrown hairs, you could look adolescent, you
Yeah.
could be, I'm
So
not,
you can tell based on her face, like, so she wasn't
not
giving
my
it
favorite.
up. She wasn't giving it up too directly there, but her face was giving it up fully.
Yeah.
So I would say that I agree, and that's the reason why I asked, because most women just want it trimmed or cleaned up. But I would say that I think that when it's shaved, it's not like I don't think shaving is the right answer for a man.
And some men will say, oh, when it's shaved, it looks bigger, right? So there's the benefit there. But then the ingrown hair, the nicks,
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know why men would want to shave when they do. So if you do, like, again, don't hold back. Add it in the comments about why.
I think it'd be
because-
prickly. I think about my legs. You shave them and like the next day they're prickly.
Yeah. And it actually kind of hurts, I think, over like it's kind of like a man with, and we'll get into the chest here in a different episode, but it's kind of like that where it like feels rough and prickly over. So it's not smooth any
So,
longer. So
don't shave.
trimmed is our feedback personally
Yes.
is that don't shave. And women, 70% of them also said just trim, don't shave. And so it sounds as if men get a higher confidence with intimacy when they are groomed.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to get your feedback on that.
And it also says most men groom before like big things like a date or a doctor's appointment or a trip. So is
Yeah.
this something that you only maintain sometimes? Is that accurate? I'm curious.
Yeah, because if it is, then it would be like, hey, before vacations, you want to look up it before dates. But then if you settle into a relationship, what I'm hearing is then you stop
let it go.
grooming as much. Yeah. So we want to know what you guys actually do and what your take on that is, because this is about you guys. We want your feedback.
So what does full jungle, full bush, what does that say about a guy?
A full bush? I don't think that would like be completely. I think that is probably pretty common that women have seen a full bush without, and I think that I've never heard a woman really say anything negative about that.
It?
No, have you?
So you wouldn't think low effort?
Well, I think that no, I think that like I personally, but I would like to get input from men, but I think that the grooming is a relatively newer,
Hmm.
I think. Just like in the 80s, it
Right?
was very common for women not to do anything. I think it was
That's
probably
true. I mean, the
very
bush is
common
back
for
for women, as we saw on our podcast. We were very surprised by the response there, but
very,
it was
yeah,
overwhelming that the bush was back.
yes.
So maybe the same for men, but then you got to worry about, well, what about odor and sweat? And what if it is just like unruly?
Yeah, I think that you have to worry about odor and sweat with men, period, right?
Yes,
So
true.
like,
So,
I mean,
but
they
hair
sweat
traps that as
and
well, even more so.
yeah, yeah, I think that it again, I think in because they have more testosterone, there's more sweating, there's testosterone in that area, there's going to be hair in that area for most men.
Yes.
That I think if you're sweating, like that's going to happen. I don't think
Yeah.
this is my opinion. My opinion is I think that it's still a relatively new, but it'll be interesting to get comments. A relatively newer, I'm not saying newer in the last couple of years, but maybe even a decade, that I think that it probably wasn't as common for men to do
No, I
anything,
agree
just
with
like it
that.
wasn't as common for women. So I think that we're going to find that a lot of men haven't. Then I think there's the other extreme where that shaving is a very uncommon thing, even now
Yes.
that grooming is probably in the middle, but I don't think I would think lazy necessarily.
I think there's
It
bush
depends
that's well
on,
groomed, and then there's jungle.
yeah, it depends on like the hairiness of a man, probably too.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like just unruly, like, oh my God, like not like I did the bush when I was in South Africa. That was like the bush, right? So you're surrounded
Yes.
by the bush and you can't even see the big five in the bush. That's an unruly,
Yes.
and I think that even on, the comments from men on the state of the bush, it wasn't like they were looking for unruly, but they wanted hair.
Yeah.
Some were like, "Hey, I'll take whatever. I'll take it
Yes.
unruly, all the things." But I think for women too, and finding men, I'd be curious to see, but I haven't really seen some crazy unruly.
Hmm.
Have you over time?
I mean, I think that it's definitely out there because it's part of the discussion,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's definitely out there. I haven't seen anything that's just like you're peeping through curtains trying to find things,
Yeah, no, I don't
digging,
know that it is
deep
out.
diving.
I don't even know that it is out there. I just think that they have started grooming more, and I don't think that's the wrong move. And obviously that wouldn't be, but
Yeah.
it's just interesting. Like men had a lot of opinions, and my opinion is that I really haven't seen like unruly jungle type situation where it's like, oh, not going into that, right? Like
Right.
because, and so I
That's a
think,
no-go.
yeah, and
That's a
then
no-fly zone.
then I think it's a rarity that the shaved thing happens. I think that's like kind of, and I think that
I'll be interested to
grooming
see
is
if
a
that's like a
good,
younger generation, if
yeah,
that's where that's coming from.
yeah. Well, I think the trimming, I think that that is the move, and it sounds like a majority of women love that, but I would love to see how many have really
It
seen
says it's
just this
cleaner, it's
unruly.
intentional, less irritation than shaving, and it said it's most preferred by partners is the trim.
Yeah. And when it
Just
when
keeping
you
it
think
neat.
about that, also would you think just overall, like I think
I think trim just
overall,
says you got your life together.
but I think like the overall package is going to tell you that too.
Yes.
So I think that is probably a big part of it, and then that trimming is just part of that
And maybe that's why
overall.
you've never seen an unruly bush.
Maybe, yeah, maybe, yeah, because I think you kind of know by the time you, at least that I have an image of what would be an unruly look, and I think it would be unruly from the word go, like you would know. But that's again my opinion. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. But hormones are obviously,
They
an
play a
issue.
huge
Yeah.
role.
Yeah, we've never had to worry about like hair growth with a man because hair grows everywhere. So you have the predominant hormone of testosterone as your sex hormone. So you have
Yep.
more hair. And then again, I think that trimming is the outcome that most women want, and so I'd go with that. But I'm curious to see what guys think about shaving and why they would shave, and then what guys think about unruly and has that truly changed over time, right?
That's it in a nutshell,
Yeah,
right?
I think that I think that at least you're not probably doing laser hair removal. I haven't seen that where
So, but
we've,
we have gentlemen that do laser hair removal here. So that is something that does happen,
but I don't think
but
they
it's not
really do it
very,
down there as often. We do laser
I've
hair
got
removal.
someone on mind already.
Okay, all
So
right.
it's just not very common, but laser hair removal is something that men do in the groin area.
Yeah. Well, that would definitely help because it's a permanent hair reduction and not like a removal. And so that would help reduce or thin it out, but it
What
would be
about
super
waxing?
painful and you'd have to shave beforehand.
Yeah. What about waxing?
So that guy that you're talking about is a shaver then
Must be.
because he has to shave, which is already the exception. So, um, what about waxing?
Yeah. I wonder how
Um,
many guys wax.
oh God, like I can't even imagine because just pulling
I know.
off like, a IV sticky is like,
They're dead.
yeah, no, yeah. So I can't even imagine, but let us
So,
know.
you guys out there, are any of you waxing?
Yeah, let us know. So waxing, yes or no? Laser hair removal, we already talked about it. Yes or no? Grooming before a date or on a regular basis, yes or no?
Yeah.
And emergency manscaping before intimacy, does that happen? Yes or no? And chest hair. Next up on the women's panel, we are going to do what women think about chest hair. And
And
so
back
stay
hair.
tuned. And back hair.
The
So
front and the back. We're going to get both sides.
stay tuned for that because we'll get a panel of women and their opinions on that. So stay tuned for that. So again, let's start a conversation in the comments. So leave us your comments and your thoughts and anything else you might want to deep dive into because we are willing to deep dive into anything. So thank you for
Thank you.
watching.